Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Welcome, one and all. I'm very grateful that you have joined me today and chosen to tune your brainwaves into positive thinking, into a positive focus. It is so important that we do that right now and that we do that collectively. And so all of us tuning in right now are collectively focusing on positivity, just the intention of turning on this podcast, wanting to see the positive angle. It's always there. And collectively, we can move mountains. It's so important to remember that right now. Today, I got a really interesting email, and I wanted to address it on the show because I know that this person who sent me the email is not the only person out there who has these types of concerns, because I see this all the time in my practice. I've mentioned it on earlier shows. When you are just finding this path or this journey or just awakening to all of this information, there is so much out there. There's so much information out there. There's so much disinformation out there. And we can choose to go down many different kinds of rabbit holes. And it's so fun and so easy to do, especially when we're just learning and just getting into all of these things. And so I've seen this so much lately because the Great Awakening has begun, and so many are awakening and finding their own truth. And in order to do that, we seek knowledge. And because there's so much of it out there and so much disinformation out there, we oftentimes can get stuck in kind of one focus. We find a teacher that we really like and that resonates with us on so many levels and hits us in ways that, yeah, that makes sense. And so we think that everything that that person says is then true. And I don't know a single teacher or person out there that I believe 100% of the things that they say. There are so many good speakers and teachers out there that have a lot of really great things to say, but I don't necessarily align with everything they say. And that took me many years to figure out and have those discernments on my own. And so when you're just beginning this process, it's not so easy. It seems that, well, if they said this thing, well, then that must be right because the other thing was right. And that's never true. It's never true. Nobody is 100% right. And I, for one, know I am never 100% right. I am wrong a lot. And so don't take anything I say for 100% truth or fact, because I'm just me. I could be completely wrong. So take everything you hear with a grain of salt and really go into your own self and figure out what is right for you. Because, okay, I've been seeing so many clients that are getting very caught up in the idea of the negativity and fighting against it. And we've been talking about this a lot lately, or some lately at least, because it's been so much in my awareness. And so let me read to you this email that I got. And the reason why I, again, wanted to do this on the show is because I'm concerned that there are so many out there who may be going down this rabbit hole in a misunderstanding. And so let me read this to you. I was considering doing a session with you, but after looking at your website, I'm wondering why you are using 33-degree Freemason Illuminati, who are Satan worshippers who work for the dark, symbols, the all-seeing eye, and pyramids on your website. I'm genuinely trying to understand this. And also, why did you say in your video, we come here to choose ourselves or others? That makes no sense at all. The choice is both ourself and others. We are all one. The self is just as important as serving and loving others. Totally correct. Your statements have made me think this work is satanic. Okay, so there is in this email a good understanding of the whole, which is wonderful. We are all one. Yes, we are. There is no difference between self and other. But the rest of it, there's a lot of wormhole going down that, yes, this stuff exists. Yes, there are Satan worshipers. And yes, this whole Freemason Illuminati it's a thing. There's so much to it. We could do a million different episodes. But here's the thing that happens with these powerful symbols that have been used throughout time is that oftentimes those who are working in the dark will take a symbol that is powerful and use it for the dark as opposed to using it for the light. Because we exist here in a dualistic universe, and there is equal and opposite light and dark at all times. These symbols work for both. And so there is not a negative pyramid or a positive pyramid. It's the intention behind using the pyramid. Pyramid power is huge, very intense. And so it would make sense if you were trying to dominate and control the world that you would want to use pyramid power, right? Of course, because it's very powerful. But you're using it in a negative way to control and manipulate others. Whereas those who built the pyramids were using it to help people to understand themselves, the energy that they are, to go within those chambers and the steps. That's a whole initiation process that people went through spiritually to understand themselves and who they are as beings. And that was a very love-centered intention. And so it's not the symbol, but the intention behind it. And I actually want to get into some of what these symbols actually mean in a second here. But I want to also address this idea of service to self and service to others and what that actually means. So when we are choosing being of service to others, what that means is we are being in service to the all, in service to the Creator, in service to everybody here, as opposed to being in service to self, which is always looking out for yourself for number one, and never caring about how you're affecting anybody else, or even when you're in service to self, you're in a mode of trying to control and manipulate others in order to get your own way, not caring how they feel about it or what you're doing to them. This happens a lot in our world, and oftentimes people will write this off as, that's just business. That's not acceptable. It is not acceptable to just call it business. This is our life. It's not okay to behave that way in any way, shape, or form. In my book, I don't think that's okay, an okay way to behave. There are many businesses who run that way that are very in service to themselves, who take and control and manipulate others, and we are seeing a downfall because of it. Now, on the other hand, those who are in service to others are always looking out for their neighbor, seeing the community, seeing themselves as one with it. In this light, there is no other. You are me and I am you. And what I do to help myself, I also do to help you. totally night and day. So she's right when she says the choice is both ourself and others. Very, very true, because we all are one. And so this is something that gets confused oftentimes is, how can you love yourself and love others? Is loving yourself going to be in that negative or dark way? No, not if you are loving yourself, taking care of yourself, holding yourself in grace, in purity, and knowing that you are a being of love and light, as opposed to trying to control or manipulate another being. It's very, very simple. Taking care of yourself and working on yourself so that you can shine your light to the whole is in service to other. It's really that little trick there of control and manipulation. And oftentimes throughout our lives, we don't realize the ways that we do this. I'm guilty of it myself. Growing up in relationships, I had this one in particular that I really wanted it to work out. I wanted it to work out so bad because I was so incredibly in love. And I tried to control and manipulate the relationship and him to make him love me more so he would stay. And how does that work out, right? No. And he would tell me, you're manipulating me. You're trying to control me when you're helping me in this way or doing these things that you're doing. Because I thought I was being very helpful, but really I was manipulating him. I was trying to manipulate him in order to get him to love me more. And that was not in service to him. That was only in service to myself. I wasn't thinking about, at the time, what was best for him. I was only thinking about what was best for me. So the real way to go about that is, what is best for both of us? Is this relationship really what's right for both of us? Are we both on the same page here, or are we not? And if we're not, and the other one's not in it, and I'm holding on with every single ounce of grip that I have left, it's time to let go. It's time to let go, because that's not serving the other, me holding on like that. I'm being in service to self in that way. So I hope that's a good example to help explain what that means. And now I want to get into what some of these symbols actually mean. And so I grabbed my trusty Signs and Symbols source book by Adele Nazadar, and I'm looking some of them up, and I'm going to read you what it says. The pyramid. At its most basic, the upward pointing triangle represents the fire that is the meaning of the word pyramid in Greek. Pyramid actually means fire in the middle. The pyramid itself is an incredibly strong construction, both symbolically and practically, with the solid base of the square supporting the 4 triangles that meet at the peak or axis of the pyramid. The shape is as impregnable and daunting as it looks. The pyramids themselves have become a symbol of Egypt, and together with the Sphinx capture the essence of the country more completely than any modern advertising logo could ever do. And as an aside, the Egyptian pyramids are not the only pyramids in the world. There are pyramids all over the place. All over the place. They're just not as big, and they're incredibly worn down. There have been countless books written about the pyramids, and the symbolism of the shape is not to be confused with any claims of pyramidology. Essentially, the pyramid represents the axis mountain of the world. This mountain is said to have risen from the waters of creation and represents existence itself. Furthermore, the cavern-like aspect of the pyramids, in which the bodies of the pharaohs were interred with elaborate rites, represents the natural cave to which early man was attracted, not only as a womb-like place of refuge, but also as a place where religious rites could take place in secrecy. The sloped shape of the exterior of the pyramids is echoed in their internal passages, which also slope steeply. These angles help the souls of the interred pharaohs ascend to heaven. And I'm also going to interject here. I have read that this was actually not used in the very beginning. The initial intention was not for pharaohs, but it was for the people. It was for the people to do just this, to help their souls ascend on the spiritual journey. And it wasn't something that happened after they were dead. We still have a primal belief that the closer man is to the sky, the nearer he is to heaven and to the Creator. The shape of a pyramid provides a way for man to achieve this goal. Stepped pyramids accumulate in a flat platform where the world of spirit meets the world of matter, the construction acting as a reminder of the convergence of the material and the ethereal. And also, I will add that pyramid power, there's so much information out there about pyramid power and all the energetics behind it and the sacred geometry and how the angles do different things. And also, there's a lot of Russian science where they actually put seeds under the pyramids and then grew those seeds. And the plants and the vegetables grew so much bigger than they had before because of the power of the pyramid. Okay, and now the all-seeing eye. And this is great because what this book has to say is actually helping to understand this person who sent me the email's point of view. The all-seeing eye. Probably the best known use of the all-seeing eye symbol is as a part of the design of the Great Seal of the United States of America, which appears on the U.S. dollar bill. Set within a triangle, a single eye is surrounded by rays of light on the seal. The whole rests on top of an unfinished pyramid. There is something quite sinister about this disembodied, ever-watchful eye, although its symbolic meaning is simple. It represents God watching over mankind, and is also known as the Eye of Providence. The eye itself is a powerful and popular symbol, and the all-seeing eye has its roots in the Egyptian Eye of Horus. The addition of the triangle represents all the different aspects of the shape, including the Christian Trinity of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. The fact that the Great Seal was a symbol that belonged to Freemasonry and alchemy prior to its adoption as part of the Great Seal of the USA has given rise to many conspiracy theories. That the all-seeing eye is also a symbol of the Illuminati, a secret organization within the Catholic Church, has further bolstered these theories. In Freemasonry, God is known as the architect of the universe. The first reference to the all-seeing eye as a Masonic symbol appeared in 1797, although the Great Seal was designed in 1776 and first used in 1782. It is whispered that Masonic influences must have been at work when the seal was designed. No one will ever know for sure, although those magical symbols that encrust the seal must have been put there for a reason. What is certain is that when the eye was adopted as part of the design of the dollar in 1935, it was a direct result of the influence of the President Franklin Roosevelt, who had no reason to conceal his Masonic affiliations. Very interesting, huh? So lots in there. You can see that the all-seeing eye has been used throughout history in many, many, many different ways. And so the Freemasons or the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, didn't start using it until the late 1700s. But we see the eye in Egypt. We see it in Middle Eastern cultures. We see it in, where else do we see it? You know where I see it? I see it in my sessions. I have had 2 different clients in their session see an all-seeing eye, one eye, out just floating in space, essentially, peering into them, looking into them, watching over them. It's very interesting. And so, of course, these clients who see it are not the only humans on the planet who have ever seen it throughout history. So wouldn't you think that maybe there were some ancient peoples who, in their meditations, sitting out in the night sky, could have seen something very similar and knew it was the watchful eye of God, the watchful eye of their guardians, of their angels. And so, yes, there are groups who take these symbols and turn them into something else and use the power for something that's negative, but it doesn't take the symbol and make it negative. It's a totally different game when you put a different intention into it. And as I say that, I'm thinking of so many other symbols that have been taken and misused over time, and now we look at them as something negative. And so maybe we'll get into symbols another time because that was kind of fun. So I'm going to leave you all with the song for today. This is A Lineario, Take It Slow. Until next time, I love you all.
Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
Take it slow. Don't get in your way. Keep it moving. Pace of every weather, look within. And don't forget you are surrounded by the wind as it rushes in your lungs. Oh, honey, you are part of the moon, precious cave. Don't forget there is unknown inside you. Don't turn away from yourself by being like somebody else. You are tide crashing over and call of the mountains in your darkest tunnels, where your light come from. So take it slow. What you long for is on its way, and don't stop reaching. Taste the sound of every color deep within. Let your wild bee uncaged run with the wind and rush into its lungs. Oh, honey, you are born of the moon, precious cave. Don't forget there is unknown inside you. Don't turn away from yourself by being like somebody else. You are tide crashing over and call of the mountains in your darkest tunnels, where your light come from. Oh, aim for the journey and grow with the night. Be brave in your loving, keep steady your side. Oh, honey, you are born of the moon, precious cave. Don't forget there is unknown inside you. Don't turn away from yourself by being like somebody else. Don't turn away from yourself by being like somebody else. Don't turn away. Don't turn away. Don't turn away. Don't turn away. You are tide crashing over and call of the mountains and your darkest tunnels, where your light